Well, we're here to give them a mid-year update on the scholarship program. It's a new program. It's been expanded across the state. And we want to look at who are the schools, how did students and how many students got into various schools. And the results show that actually parents signed up in big numbers. Their needs were accommodated, and they were accommodated in schools that are long-standing institutions in their various areas.
Thank you, and welcome to everybody for being with us this afternoon. I'm Ronnie Briggs, President and Board Chairman of Good Shepherd Nativity Mission School. I want to extend a special welcome today, and I don't normally do that because I forget somebody, but I'm going to extend a welcome to the Superintendent, John White, Senator Conrad Appel, Dr. Jan Lancaster. We have James Garvey and Penny Dastug here today from Bessie, Laverne Saulnay from Senator Landrieu's office, and of course you'll meet later on some of our speakers. So thank you all for coming this afternoon. Good Shepherd School is extremely proud to be a part of the Louisiana Scholarship Program, and we've actually been involved before it started, but at least since the day that it started, 2008. We're certainly honored that we've been chosen as a host of this event so guests can see firsthand the program in action and the value to our children, their families, and really the entire community. That being said, I'd like to welcome Eric Lewis. I believe you're next with BAEO, which is the Black Alliance for Educational Options.
Thank you, Ronnie. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Again, my name is Eric Lewis. I'm the State Director for the Black Alliance for Educational Options. Since the inception of the program in 2008, BAEO has worked to advocate not only for the creation of the program, but annually the organization was at the legislature fighting to protect the program. And so the expansion of the program was something that was on the horizon for BAEO for a couple years. And so fortunately, due to the hard work of many people, the scholarship program has now been expanded throughout the state. And so we're excited about that because as an organization, we believe, particularly, given the constituency that we work with, that low-income African-American children who oftentimes have very limited options in their own neighborhood have to have programs such as these. And so we're very excited. We've been visiting some of the schools that have come on board with the program since its expansion, had the opportunity to visit 2 schools in Lafayette. And the reality is that the things that we heard out in the media and a lot of the naysayers are putting out there are not taking place right now. And so when we go to visit schools, just like the one that we're going to tour a little bit later today, you'll see throughout the state that kids are learning, they're attentive, and most importantly, their parents feel a lot better about what's going on in their education and what their academic future holds for them. Just a couple quick facts that I'd also like to share with you about the scholarship program. This legislation, it was signed into law as Act 2 on April 18th. It created a 250% increase of kids that were currently in the program. And so an additional 3,000 kids outside of the New Orleans region now had the opportunity to take part in this program. There are just under 5,000 students participating in 118 approved schools. So that's 28 different school districts throughout the state where kids are being positively impacted. Some of you may not realize this, but again, many folks thought that there wouldn't be a huge interest in this. We actually had 10,300 students apply for this program for only 5,600 scholarships. So again, that's twice as many applied as seats were actually available. And so again, to date, there are 4,944 kids that are attending private schools. There is one high-performing public school. 86% of the scholarship students attended public schools this past school year that had a D or F. And these students have the opportunity to join tens of thousands of families across Louisiana that are attending private and parochial schools. Statewide, non-public schools educate about 14% of students. In the great city of New Orleans, that number rises to about 35% of students. 43% of the 118 scholarship schools have educated students for over 50 years. And so I want to make that point very clear because, again, that's one of the things that the naysayers say, that these are fly-by-night schools. And so 43% of the schools participating have been strong institutions in their communities for over 50 years. 73% have been in operation for 25 years, and 86% have been in operation for 10 years or more, for more than 10 years. Every school that is participating in this program is BAEO approved. And so again, there are 117 private and parochial schools participating and one high-performing public school in Opelousas. And so with that, we just felt it was very important for you all to have an understanding of where we're at with this program. You know, we've come a long way and we have a ways to go, but I think we all will agree that parents are much happier than they were. We have 4,900 parents that were much happier than they were last school year. And so at this time, I'm going to ask if Ms. Coretta Pittman, the president of the PTO Association, will come.
Good afternoon. My name is Coretta Pittman. I am the mother to Elias, who is in the first grade here at Good Shepherd, and Tay, age 22, Tisha, age 20, and twins, Elisha and Alicia, age 3. I am thankful to be here to speak to you today, and even more thankful for the Student Scholarship for Excellence program and the opportunities it has provided my son Elias. I have a unique and different perspective, being a mother of many. My older children were not offered the opportunities that Elias now has with the scholarship program, and hopefully the twins will have. Although they are each thriving and doing well in their own right, their father and I wish that we could have provided our older children with a better education and learning environment. But that was just not in the cards for us. This past weekend, I buried my nephew, and I wonder if he had had opportunities, would he still be with us? We are proud of the way we raised our children and celebrate each of their successes. But now, because of the Student Scholarship for Educational Excellence program in Louisiana, we feel things are a little more even. If you met my son Elias, you will know he has the potential to set this world on fire. He is brilliant, savvy, and has a will of his own. I have many parent-teacher conferences where we talk about his strong will. But I know now that in a learning environment such as this, where I now have the opportunity to send my son, he will be able to utilize his talents, his brains, and his amazing personality to achieve his fullest potential and go on to a quality high school, and then I know to college. Every parent should have this same opportunity, this same choice. Only the parent can know their child and what is best for them. Thank you for letting me speak with you today, and thank you for the opportunity the Louisiana Student Scholarship for Excellence program has given my son and my family. And now the principal of Good Shepherd School, Mrs. Emily Paul.
Thank you, Mrs. Pittman. Good afternoon and welcome to everyone. The story you just heard is but one of many inspirational stories that come from our parents here at Good Shepherd School. We are thankful as educators to be able to provide the opportunities to our students here. This is our 5th year in the Louisiana Scholarship for Excellence program, and we invite you shortly to take a tour and to see the work, to see it in action, because seeing is believing. For the first time across our state, families who have in the past had not the opportunities that they have now, they are able to choose. The choice they make is an important one because it allows their children to thrive in a loving and nurturing environment and to achieve their potential, whatever that may mean for each individual child. The Louisiana Scholarship for Excellence program engages the parents in the children's education. And as we all know, parents are the primary educators. And without parents, why do we have schools? It's important for the scholarship program to continue because the children thrive, they prosper, and they can become whatever they want to become. Partnerships of parents, students, and schools are needed to make it work. They are needed to create a culture of learning. 12 years ago, we were charged with the mission to make a difference, and Good Shepherd has consistently done that. One of our many shining examples is the news we received that upon taking iLeap last year for the very first time, our third grade students scored higher than all of the third graders participating in the scholarship program. And we are very proud of that. That only came about due to hard work, due to effort, due to commitment, due to dedication of the staff as well as the parents and the students. We are grateful that we have the opportunity to provide for our parents and for our students. I would like to now invite Dr. Jan Lancaster to come forward. She's the superintendent of Catholic schools. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you, Emily. I am so proud to be here today, and I will tell you why. To just hear about the success of Good Shepherd School was phenomenal. But I want to tell you that there are similar stories going on throughout the Archdiocese. This year, when we got the LEAP scores back, we aggregated the data. The School Leadership Center, Brian Rodlinger, the School Leadership Center of Greater New Orleans, took our data, and we found that our students in the language arts component of the LEAP improved 10%. The math component, 20%. That is unheard of. That is unprecedented. And I was so thrilled by that because, as Emily said, as you go around the Archdiocese, you see teachers, principals, educators who are working together for the betterment of every child. And that's exciting. And what a day it is today to celebrate that. The Archdiocese of New Orleans has had the honor and privilege to be part of this program since 2008. And during that time, we've had the opportunity to change the lives of students who otherwise would not have had that opportunity. So I want to thank everyone who has been instrumental in allowing that success to happen. We've truly had the opportunity to make a difference. It's what Catholic schools do, and it's who we are. And I'm thrilled to be here, and like I said, I'm so very proud. So I thank anyone who has had any initiative with this, because it truly has made the difference in the lives of many, many children. And now I'd like to ask Senator Appel to come up.
Thank you. Let me share with you a small incident that took place. As many of you were not there, we spent weeks of grueling time in the legislature passing this package of legislation. The most poignant time I can remember was when the Cowan Institute from right here in New Orleans appeared before my committee, the Senate Education Committee, and we asked them, how does Louisiana rank as far as educational outcomes? The answer was 48 to 49th. And I asked them again, I said, well, gentlemen, how long have we been 48th or 49th? And the answer was always. For as long as records have been kept, the state of Louisiana ranked 48th to 49th. There was no doubt the legislature was going to pass this package of bills that we did pass. It became the acts, the various acts that you hear about today. We just will not accept such levels of educational outcomes, period. It's not feasible for Louisiana to move forward into the 21st century with results like that. What does it bring to us? It brings us scholarship programs, it brings us charter schools, expansion of charter schools, it brings us something that's very simplistic, but I believe the principal said it right perfectly, was it brings us parental choice, something that we didn't offer to parents in the past in Louisiana. It gives the parents an opportunity to do what's right for their children, and then hopefully it creates an atmosphere where all the elements of the educational structure seek to achieve higher and higher and higher levels. And that's what parental choice is really all about. And the result is these three young people sitting right here, I'm sorry, Jan, point behind. If they succeed, we as grown-ups. And I have every reason to believe that, especially that little lady right there, big smile, is going to succeed beyond anybody's wildest dreams. And I want to thank you all very much. Let me introduce the key to the future of Louisiana. Boy, is this loaded. Our Superintendent of Education, John White, has a very large burden to bear because we really do expect great things, and I have absolutely no doubt that achievement is very near coming. And with that, I will introduce our Superintendent of Education and my hero, John White.
Thank you, Senator. I want to start. There are a lot of people to thank, so I'm not going to walk through all of them, but I thank all of the previous speakers and everyone in the room who helped to make this happen, our elected officials and our Bessie representatives and countless others in the room. I want to just also thank the Pelican Institute, which produced today's report, and I'll touch briefly on the report that was produced today, but I hope for members of the media in particular you'll get a chance to look at it. I think it's thoughtful. I think it reviews a good summary of where we are to date, and I thank the Pelican Institute for putting it together. Let me talk just about the statewide perspective on where we are. I've spent the last couple of weeks visiting public schools and private schools. I was at John McDonough High School this morning, which I'm thrilled to report is a very different place from where it was 6 months ago. But I've also, on that way, stopped off at 5 different schools across the state that are participating in our scholarship program, which I think is probably, from what I'm told, the first time that it's a standard thing for a state superintendent to make those stops as he travels around the state. And whether it was in Houma, or whether it was in Alexandria, whether it was in Shreveport, yesterday we were in Oswego, and today here in New Orleans, I've seen extraordinary love, extraordinary ambition, and extraordinary care for the students in the charge of those principals and teachers, whether they were scholarship or not. And when you dig into the facts of the report, it makes complete sense that, as Eric said, 3/4 of these schools have been serving kids for over 25 years, half of them for over 50 years, and nearly all of them for more than 10 years. These are long-standing institutions, and when you spend time in the communities and when you spend time in the schools, you understand why. And I think what an extraordinary thing that the public can make and provide access to all of its citizens, especially those who historically have been most disadvantaged, to its most storied institutions. And what a tremendous step forward for our state that is. And I think it's especially, and this fact doesn't get talked about enough, important to consider what is the alternative and where are these young people coming from? Because that fact only creates more gravity to the point of how strong these schools are and can be. Which is to say, as Eric also said, that 86% of them came from schools that are rated D or F, which means that 86% of them came from schools where, give or take, about half of the kids can read and write on their grade level. And we invest $985 million of state money alone in such schools on an annual basis. And I just think the gravity of that fact tells me that it should be a fairly obvious thing, and certainly is a just thing, that we allow parents to choose what is right for their child, whether it's traditional public, whether it's charter public, or whether it's a private school, provided we have high standards. And in this case, we have extremely high standards for what we expect of our educators and for what we expect of our kids. Which is finally to say that this report continues to point out for me that those who stand in the way of this program, who continue to oppose this program and oppose the right of parents to choose, are trying to remove and had better reckon with the fact that they are trying to remove the rights of parents and the rights of our children to something that should be fundamental for all of us, and that is the potential to have a great education and lead a life as a productive member of our society. You stare in the face of these young people, and you see that very quickly, and the opposition to this program, to me, becomes a real question of ethic and moral. I thank you so much. I thank everyone who's here hosting us today, and I very much appreciate. Ronnie, I'll pass this back to you.
Thank you so much, Superintendent White. Thanks to everybody for taking the time to come out this afternoon. The goal was to provide you with a little detail of the Louisiana Scholarship Program and talk about our successes, of which there are many, and to give you an insight of the impact that this is making on our families and our community throughout the state. What a wonderful job has been done by spreading it so quickly with the legislation just being passed. Each of us should be grateful, really and truly, to be a part of what's going on in Louisiana now. We're truly blessed to be here and to be able to take part in this great undertaking. Each of you, along with businesses, civic leaders, parents, educators, and citizens concerned for the future of children, are invited to become champions for school choice in Louisiana. You can go to, and this one's easy, championsforschoolchoice.com. That's championsforschoolchoice.com.
The superintendent's visit is going to shed even more light on the importance of this program. There are a number of people who are against the program, but the program needs to be given a chance, because what has to be done is what's best for children. Children will not prosper if they are not properly educated. And it's about them. It shouldn't be about anything else. It's about doing what's right and what's best for them. So I think the superintendent wants to allow people to see this program in action and see the success stories.
I think it's important anytime you've got parents who are not getting what they need for their kids, and that you can provide them an opportunity and get what they want is fantastic. On the other hand, we've got 5,000 kids who didn't get what they want because there weren't enough seats. And it really points to the fact that the best school choice program is a program that makes every school a good choice. We've got to work to turn around our failing schools just as we provide alternatives.
I would say that if you have a choice in the type of education you want for your child, then you should go for that, because the children are the future, and their futures will only be bright if there's a lot of support and a lot of caring and a lot of challenging, because children being children, they will procrastinate from time to time, but they need to know if they stumble, there are those who care about them and help them get back up on the right track.
What would you like Louisiana residents across the state to know, especially those who might be parents?
Well, I think they should know that there are options and that they should continue to demand better if they're not getting from their school what they want. Parents want to send their kid to the school down the block, but most important is they want to send them to a good school. We're doing everything we can to turn around our low-performing schools.